Hello everyone, this is Mr. Dias again, your business consultant and business teacher, and today's business pill is about strategic management. Now, very oftenly from practice, I see that people consider strategic management to be something that is a bit outside of the typical framework or typical procedures that I work with, and I wanted to make this video in order to help others understand what strategic management is about and what process does it imply. So first of all, I think it would be fair to say that strategic management is the art of allocating resources in order to meet certain goals that we have pre-established. And it has to do with the long term, and it involves a lot of strategies and tactics. Okay? And I want you to look at the difference between strategies and tactics in terms of, let's think of an example from football, okay? So a strategy would be a plan to win the Champions League, okay? And a tactic would be a step-by-step on a shorter term plan that you need to follow in order to implement the overall plan, which is the strategy, and that would be to win every game possible from group stages to final so that you can make sure that you implement the strategy and you achieve your objective. Now, strategic management follows a certain, let's say, diagram when it comes to how do we implement it, how do we work with it, what does it mean, how does it help. Now, in order to understand this, we have to start following a diagram, which tells us very, very much about what strategic management is actually about, okay? And it all starts with, and this is really, really important, it starts with the mission, the vision, and the initial objectives of that company. So we have number one, we have mission, vision, and objectives. Okay, why is it really important? Now, I've been through several companies, and when I started with this step, which they actually ignored, by the way, when they decided on their strategy, is I came to realize that what I've seen as within that business through secondary data, like financial reports, for example, what I've seen as people, process, or product, and what I had to give them, to deliver them as solutions, will take them extremely far away from their mission and their vision. And I think it's important to understand what mission vision is actually and see how it will impact the overall objectives, corporate aims that will actually set for our company. And we're gonna have an example that we're gonna keep in mind, which is Tesla, okay? You know, the electric cars, super speedy electric cars, okay? So when it comes to vision, now this is a statement that has to do with long term, okay? Not only it has to do with long term, but it will actually tell everybody around us what our company aims to achieve through its existence, yeah? So what we aim to achieve on the long run. What is our purpose? Okay, so what do we want to do with this company? So Tesla's vision is focusing on accelerating the rate at which people move towards sustainable energy, towards renewable energy. So this is their vision. This is what they want to achieve on long run. They want to move as many people as possible on renewable energy. Now, this is what they want to do. Now, how are they going to do that is actually more precise in their mission. So a mission, the mission is usually can be seen as, or I see it at least, as a ideal communication tool for, let's say, all stakeholders you can think of, but I'll give you the main ones. But in general, it impacts the stakeholders within the business, and I'm going to give you 3 categories. We have the employees, the clients, and the shareholders. Okay? Now, it tells each category of these stakeholders what we want to achieve with our business, why we're doing what we're doing, and how are we going to do it, because we want to achieve our long-term purpose, which is the vision. So, for example, Tesla wants to accelerate the rate of people that actually move from, the normal use of energy to sustainable energy. And the way to do that, their mission is to create the best electric car that will contribute to this transition of people switching away to sustainable energy. So they've identified their product, they've identified where they're working and why they're working, so that they can achieve their long-term purpose, okay? Now, employees are motivated because they know they contribute to the community and the environment by helping build such products which are they're so environmental friendly. Clients will be easier for them to purchase because they know they're purchasing a product that thinks of their future, that is here to help and protect the environment, that contributes significantly in one way or another to preserving what we have around us. And shareholders, they will be more willing to pump money in your idea and be patient for results, because this is where the future is heading. So this being said, now that I kind of cleared what mission, what vision you have as a company, we discussed some let's say objectives that we want to keep in mind right now for the moment. We just move to the next step, and the next step has to do with strategic analysis. Okay, I know it sounds pompous, but it doesn't really have anything to do with just putting out words over there and not being able to use them. It actually is a very important process because it gives us an ideal, not an ideal image, but a very anchored in reality image of where the company is now. Okay, so we need an image. Think of it as an X-ray. Okay, and this X-ray is usually based on primary and secondary data. Okay, so vast majority of entrepreneurs have an infatuated idea of their company or where their company is right now or what it can achieve. So my role is to actually understand where the company is now in relationship with the market, in relationship with the competitors, in terms of how the employees see it, such as employer branding, such as attrition, and be able to understand in terms of prices, be able to understand what is our unique selling proposition, which are the way in which we advertise, and so on and so forth. So then we can actually come to a conclusion which will be translated further into a strategic choice. So what strategic choice is about is deciding on which option we go for. Deciding what we do further. I mean, I understand we reached this far, we have option A, B, and C. Now what do we do further? Which one we go with? Which one we go with can be answered taking into consideration several factors such as the resources we have at disposal or a priority in a priority manner, but it has to keep in mind not moving away from our mission and from our vision. And once we decided on our strategic choice, and it can be done through several tools such as an Ansoff matrix or a decision tree, we now move to the strategic implementation. So strategic implementation, okay, this is a very important step because it involves building, having, following a business plan, okay? Now, strategic implementation would not be possible without a business plan in which we have details such as the overall objectives of the company, such as maybe a bit of history of the company, such as the business opportunity that we want to follow, the marketing plan that we want to implement, maybe the pricing strategies, the financial tools that we're going to use, and which will be our human resource management policy, and last but not least, what are the skills that our employees have that can actually help us take our business to the next level. So what I want to stress out is without a solid business plan that will actually keep us on the path and make sure that nothing else can, be alluring for us and take us away from our mission and vision, it can be a situation in which you're wasting resources just because you don't have a business plan that will keep you on track. So I cannot stress out how important this tool is, not only in the step, but in the overall health of the entire process in order for it to be a successful procedure in terms of strategic management. And last but not least would be control and evaluation. I've seen several companies that ignored this step, and this is because they have encountered some results. They might be some good results, and if we go by the premise, hey, as long as money is flowing in the company, why should we worry? Okay, and I'm going to tell you why you should worry. It's because you always need to make sure that what you're actually doing is not taking you away from your mission and your vision and your initial objectives. Then what you're actually doing has to fit within certain parameters such as cost, time, labor, quality, etc. Okay? And last but not least, you have to make sure that what you have over here as an output actually gives you the same amount of satisfaction of what you planned. Okay? So if what you have as an output is quite away from what you initially planned, then that is not a very successful implementation of your strategy, and that is not a very efficient strategic management. So this being said, don't forget about starting everything in terms of strategic management from vision and mission. And when you're making the analysis, try to be as objective as possible. Try to run away from infatuated people. Try to gather opinions. Try to gather data that will actually be numerical. And okay, in an ideal situation, you will also have to do with numerical data that doesn't involve window dressing. Okay, try to focus on that. Try to focus in looking at a company as it is, not as you would like it to be. Then try to take the best decision that will require the less resources, can be implemented the fastest, and will bring the biggest return rate. And then make sure that you have a business plan that can help you be resistant in time and make sure that you actually deliver on the choice that you've made. And last but not least, don't forget to always control and evaluate. Always trust, but please verify, okay? Thank you very much for watching this video.